welcome back to the Pullze Check podcast. Guys, we have been MIA for the holidays for the last 2 weeks. We are finally back. Activision is also back to working, so that means so are we, you know. As always, man, we got my boy JGOD. We got my boy Ebatez. And listen, ladies and gentlemen, we got a new guest on the podcast today. The first time guest, you know what I'm saying? My boy Art is War, not Art of War. You know, I didn't know that. I'm an idiot. I've known this man for like 3 years. You know, it's all good. It's all good. But for those of y'all who don't know, Art, this man has all the sauce that you could possibly want. That sounds a little weird, but audio sauce, filter sauce. This man, Art, go ahead and introduce yourself, my boy.
My name's Art, or Jesse. I've played COD since, well, I'm old, so I've played COD since COD 2003. Then I took a break because I worked in the film industry for like a decade, went to college. I had like a whole life and did stuff. And then I came back because COVID. I got sober playing Warzone, which is a weird fun fact. That's cool. And started streaming because I had all this like camera know-how from the industry. So I applied it here and I stuck it through Warzone 2's pile, and it paid off because now people trust me and what I know, and I've broken the audio in the game a little bit. Yeah. And we made some pretty filters, and yeah.
Okay, so
I have a cute dog.
That is kind of, you know, we brought Art onto the space to talk about it today because a big topic of discussion, which we will address later on in the podcast, is the quote unquote Art of War audio cheese, right? Which it is pretty fucking insane. Which, you know, Art, I'll be honest, hats off to you, Pops, for making something that, you know, in a bad way that is not there at the moment. So, but anyways, boys. The JGOD, Ebatez, how we feeling, man? We're back from break. I've been missing the podcast like crazy. So many people in chat have been like telling me, where are the podcasts? Where are the podcasts? Yep. Where are the podcasts? So talk to me, boys. How have y'all been feeling?
Hey, go ahead, man.
Oh, I'm good. I'm just been vibing. It's nice to enjoy the game while also making content for the game.
Yeah.
And then people are generally more positive about the game too. Obviously, people kind of narrowed in on a few like trouble areas, but it's more like if we've gotten to that point, the game's kind of in a good spot. If we're talking about aim assist and other nonsense that like has been there for 4 years, then it's like, yeah, we're kind of running out of things to complain about. So let's complain about this. So it's good.
That is good. No, yeah, our Christmas break this year wasn't too bad. I feel like every year there's like some nonsense that we have to like go deal with, you know, for like a month or two. And I mean, MTZ Interceptor, yeah, it sucks, but it wasn't like a huge issue. It was an issue, but it wasn't like, I'm not playing the game all Christmas and this game sucks and everybody that came home for Christmas break is just not running the game. So no, it was pretty good, man. I've been enjoying the game. Content's good. Everyone's having like a pretty positive sentiment about the game. So
yeah, I mean,
pretty good 2 weeks.
I guess that we can start it off like that, man. Is this you know, Activision has been on break for the last 2 weeks, so another reason why we haven't had a podcast. And a lot of us went on break, visited families and stuff like that. And so yeah, man. I mean, let's kind of talk about real quick the start of last year and the start of now, right? Even the year before that, bro. Like the start that we had, I think everybody in the chat can all agree, from what we had in Modern Warfare 2 and the start of Caldera was almost borderline unplayable. Like it was really bad. You know, for us, I can just imagine, you know, everybody who plays just to have fun. A lot of people stopped playing at the beginning of the last 2 COD cycles because of how bad it was. And I genuinely don't think we're anywhere near that. You know, but yeah, I mean, boys, do y'all remember last year? What were the things that Call of Duty did
every year?
Yeah. Well, I mean,
but this year,
yeah.
Every year, but this year.
Yeah. Wait, how did you feel about the integration of Cold War? I thought that one was pretty okay.
I think the only issue with Cold War was, didn't we have those guns that were like shape-shifting? It was like they were like giant.
Wasn't that
that's just
all
a
of?
bug.
Yeah, I think that was all of like the game.
So I'll say hands down, this has been the best integration. And it's even better than the launch of Warzone when you factor in the time that Warzone dropped, because Warzone originally didn't drop until March.
Yeah.
So if they had launched in December, the game would have been unplayable probably until March, or else they would have released it in December. So like, and then we had Cold War. 99% of the attachments did not do what they said they did.
True.
Like, even though there was like, oh, cool, it says plus recoil or plus aim down sight plus strafe. Nope.
And didn't we have like a month of Bloom?
We
Yeah.
did have Bloom. That was in
Yes,
Vanguard, though.
yeah,
That was in Vanguard.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought.
And then-
Okay.
So the
forgot
Cold
about
War
that.
didn't actually get settled up until like March. Even though the game was fun because there was a lot of mobility stuff and people were figuring things out and we had tested stuff where that helped us quite a bit. But regardless of that, it was busted. The reload with the stopping power, you would reset your reload with the Cold War gun specifically. I mean, there was a lot of issues. And then we got into Vanguard, and then we got Caldera. That was terrible. We started out, you couldn't get loadouts until 5 minutes into the match.
No, you couldn't even buy them, right? You couldn't even buy loadouts,
You couldn't
right?
buy them.
I remember
until
that.
the loadouts came in.
Until Swag got his ass tattooed.
They
Yeah.
came
Yeah,
in
right.
with the stupid airplanes, which were like a menace, getting 50 kill games people were doing.
Yeah.
Like only airplane.
Fucking Soka
Like-
dropped like the world record 3 times just
He
flying
dropped,
around.
like,
in
seven-
it.
he dropped like 72, like
Yeah,
to the
like
plane
he-
or something. Like,
Like Art said with the Bloom stuff, like that game, it did not even get remotely good until like the summer.
it was like May.
And then
yeah,
by
May.
that time, it was like Godzilla Kong and it was recovering. And then finally, we came around to Al Mazrah, and then it was like, psych, you don't get loadouts. This is bugged. We have AI on the map.
Oh,
all
bro.
these other issues, bro. The list it's stupid. You started with 2 plates.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, bro. Had
RNG
to,
health was so much fun.
had to
And
get a
at
fucking
that time, it was
satchel.
funny because people were upset with sniping because they couldn't one shot. So that was kind of weird. But
I mean,
yeah.
I mean, dude, we have had an insane like last couple of years as far as December, January, and you know, to think that where we're at now, like, bro, I was joking with them. I was like, yo, I might not have a job after you guys are making good updates. Like, there's nothing to talk about, bro. There's nothing to complain about, dog. Like, you know, but I mean, listen, man, over the last 2 weeks, the only thing that I think we can, like, I think, what's the word? Because I don't want to say the only thing we can complain about. Because yeah, there are some things that were kind of broken. But the only I think acceptable thing for now to complain about was just the MTZ. You know, the MTZ was really fucking broken. But apart from that, I don't think there was anything that was like insanely broken. Yes, there are things that can be addressed. There are things that can get better, right? But for the most part, like, people can play with fucked up sound. People can play with like too much aim assist, right? Like those are things that can be adjusted after the break comes back. But for now, like, I think the last 2 weeks was pretty fun. Like, yes, MTZ got so annoying, but for the most part, MTZ was, yeah, it was annoying. But
It could have
yeah,
been MTZ dual pistols,
Snake
one
shot.
shot shotgun.
Yeah.
I mean, like Cold War integration, we had MMA fighters speaking on television asking people to nerf the DMR. So we never got there, you know, like.
yeah,
We're doing
Yeah,
really good.
it was that bad.
Yeah, I mean, sound, guys, sound, if y'all think sound, a lot of people are saying audio. If y'all think audio was chalked like right now, I mean, bro, it is miles better than what it was like 2 weeks ago before the update, which, I mean, Art, do you want to kind of explain like what they did? I feel like you kind of know.
I mean, I think they're just rushed. I mean, I think that's like the most expensive thing in any business is labor. And like, no matter how poorly you pay people ever, it's just always the most expensive thing. And they want it done at this time, and it has to be done at that time because they've paid PR, they've paid advertising, all of this. So you got to release, and it's just like the audio just wasn't done. I don't know. It must have been something simple. I mean, I'm not really like, I'm an audio guy. I understand systems pretty well, but actually my whole background is video, which is really ironic that my camera was fucked up for the first 20 seconds or whatever. But they seem to flip the switch because it only took them a week to roll out a fix. And I mean, the fix is way better. I was like one of the first people I work with when I put out settings is Rated, just because he gives me really good feedback. And he doesn't like try to get in there and think he tweaks and knows. He'll just be like, yeah, this sucks, or yeah, this is really good, or and he sent me clips, and there's just like nothing. You'll be like the staircases in Old Town, until you physically round a wall, then you can hear the person. So there's obviously things, and I think I've seen somebody in my YouTube comments or my tweets being like, yeah, I do game design. Who knows if he actually does? But like, if a wall is, the decimal place is in the wrong place and the wall is 10 times as thick as it should be, then you're not going to hear any of the sound coming around it. That's what they fixed week 1. It's still bad, and like their patch notes, they're definitely, we can only do so much is what they're saying, because it's a new engine, but it's a spaghetti engine from OG CODs.
Yeah.
You know, they probably have code from way back, and they there's a group of people out there that like the Michael Bay experience when they play Warzone.
Just the
I mean,
air
Dane Cook plays
strikes.
in a theater, bro. Like, he's like, bro, he gets flashed IRL when he gets flashed, dude. He wants to feel those streaks. He wants that.
One thing I would say though is there's certain things that I would say are more inexcusable, that like they just don't make sense. And the common one that I experience, like I would say that 99% of the time, if I go, oh, it was an audio issue, it's literally somebody landing a foot from you.
Yeah.
And that is, in my opinion, breaks the laws of what you're talking about in terms of, oh, the decimal point's off. There's no wall. We're out in the middle of the freaking open. Dude lands a foot from me.
Well, that's
Could
why
execute me without even me knowing.
Yeah,
It's like,
that's
what the
insane.
fuck?
The flying shit, I
it's
would
crazy.
hope. I would hope that that's something that's on their radar to address ASAP, because that's one of the biggest complaints. Yeah, I honestly think footsteps got a lot better, right? Is it perfect? No. Is it Warzone 2 footsteps? I don't think it's there yet. Is it even Warzone 1? My opinion, I will continue to say this, Warzone 1 audio was fucking amazing. I could hear everything. I don't know what happened now, but like, it's better. It could be definitely way, way better. But the flying in and getting people landing on you is...
That's one thing that anybody that does like the audio tune or whatever you want to call it, they say they get back. And I mean, to me at least, the only thing that's really changing is everybody plays on stereo headsets. Like, even if you buy, there's some headsets out there that do like a kind of realistic surround sound emulation, and they can like emulate. I know Neo plays with Atmos on, and that does interface with the game differently, but like the layman way of explaining what my audio setup does is it's a virtual cable that's viewed as surround sound that then gets mapped out to stereo. There's a step in there that's cheesy as hell where you can turn down your own gunshots and your own footsteps. But even if like Bread runs it sometimes with everything turned up, just doing that alone, you get more cues back. So when you go to speaker output format and you choose stereo or Windows default, because the device is viewed as surround sound, it changes how the game produces sound. Like, it is viewed as a totally different receiving device. And so there has to be a problem with how they take like the procedural audio that's generated, like, oh, somebody's dropping in, or that person landed right there, or whatever. And it's just getting stuck, or it's just like not actually being produced. There was a clip that Rated had of 3 dudes pushing up a ladder, sound on the first 2, absolutely nothing on the third. It's just like, buffering, please load, or please wait. You know, like, it just seems to be a problem with how they do stereo.
I mean, I would hope that that's something that they're addressing as well. I definitely think right now there's a Band-Aid fix on audio, which we'll go back to the audio cheese once we talk about competitive, right? But boys, I mean, I guess let's kind of talk about everything so far. Yeah, how do you, I mean, generally, overall, I think the game is in a good state. I'm going to kind of, boys, for our end, right? I know we're talking about Bulletin 2, but since we're already on the topic, let's just kind of go Bulletin 4. So as of right now, what do you guys think the game needs, right? We talked about audio, that's one, but what do you guys think that the game needs at the moment? Like, in order to be the Warzone that we want it to be. I think it's pretty unrealistic to say, hey, I want Verdansk numbers back again. You know, I want this, right? Like, what does the game need going forward, so that if any devs are watching this, they'll be like, okay, this is what the community wants. This is what, like, you know, I have my list. I'll go last. But JGOD, Ebatez, Art, I guess we can go JGOD first. What do you guys think the game needs to kind of succeed and make it that much better? We have a really good foundation, but what does the game need to take it to that, like, yo, I can grind this shit for hours, or like, you know, what does it need?
Personally, I would say that I think the game's in a good spot. It just needs all those nuancy nonsense that you shouldn't be dealing with, that are clearly not design choices that are messed up. Whether it's like when you go and do something, it bugs, like the tap to dive and the slide only. It needs to be all uniform where you know what you're getting out of it. If you choose slide only, you should not be able to randomly dive. And I know there's like 3 or 4 different ways to trigger that. That shouldn't be a thing. But I think they're aware of those things and working on them. If they could fix all the nonsense, pinging and it doesn't look like the ping is visible, loading in and your teammates aren't visible on the HUD, and all these other little things that are clearly bugs. When you get a long shot, why doesn't that pop up on the screen that says how many meters that was? Especially for sniping, since it is one shot. That used to be cool. That was a 300-meter snipe. Now you can't even see how far you killed someone, and that kind of detracts from that feel. I don't know. I think maybe Battle Royale, you could add a couple more players. That's what it seems like what some people want. Not a lot, but a couple more. I think for Resurgence, and it's in a good spot. Like, I don't know. I don't really have much to complain about. More meta options, you already mentioned that. So
yeah. Okay. All right. Ebatez.
I think the number one thing right now, and this is again from personal experience, from what I've seen on Twitter, everybody, like, we need to get a full-time Vondel playlist, because the whole time share between Ashika and Vondel is absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Ashika Island needs to go, or it could be its own little thing. If all the dads want to go play Ashika Island, that's fine. You want to go breathe underwater for 45 minutes, that's fine. You guys want to go do that, like, that's cool. Like, little underground, like, that's great. But we need a full-time Vondel playlist, because, dude, this whole quad's waiting 15 minutes in between, like, it's ridiculous, bro.
And it wouldn't be as bad if there was trios and quads, because then you could just alternate back and forth.
Oh, yeah.
And it'd be like, all right, cool. But like right now, it's either quads or solos.
Yeah,
it's such a drastic difference.
Yeah.
Just give me a Vondel playlist, man. Like, like, that's clearly the best Resurgence map right now. I mean, maybe there's numbers to back it up. If there are, please show me, because I genuinely don't believe that people play Ashika Island and like love it. Like, I just don't.
People do love it. People definitely do love it. I mean, every poll I've seen is like 30-70 though. Like 30% love it, and then everyone else is Vondel, which, like, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Regardless, they could both be good, but give us a Vondel 100% of the time. Quads, Vondel quads all the time.
Okay. All right. Art, talk to me. What you think can make the game better?
I used to stream Into the Void, like, before I took content seriously. I played the game a lot. Like, Verdansk, Caldera, everybody hated. It's because I was ass when I first started, and I got a lot better. I was mouse and keys, so I just enjoyed getting better at something. So it's back to the point where I feel I'm learning a new input anyway, so I'm playing controller. So there is that, but I can play a lot again, and I'm not annoyed. It's not like death by 1,000 cuts. We're like death by like 250 cuts now, and it's all the little nuanced stuff that JGOD talked about. Like, I feel like there's an identity crisis with the movement. Like, everybody's talking about tac sprint now, but it's because we took a whole year and like put lead boots on.
Yeah.
And now everybody hated it, like, uniformly. I don't come from a stable home, so I knew immediately the game sucked. I was like, this shit's ass. This sucks. What did they do to my child? And I would play with randoms. I'd be like, is this fun? They'd be like, no, hell no. I feel like I'm trapped. You know, they hated it. So we're close, but like now we still have like the slide delay everybody's talking about, and the dive for no reason. I mean, like, it would just, and a dive dedicated to bind, so you don't have to like download a software to map a key to your controller or like use a special control. Everybody should just be able to move around the map how they want to. I don't think game designers, that's why Apex does so well. They have a good core movement system, and we're close. We're super, super close. Yeah. But it's just not there. And that's the part that still drives me crazy, because it's bad on mouse and key. It's bad on controller. And then it's going to be a long time before they fix the input issues for mouse and key. But as a mouse and key OG, I will always mention that.
We'll have to wait for Treyarch on that one.
Yeah, 100%. And it's Tony did a great true game.
It's too deep into the engine. Yeah.
It's everything. And then they're never going to make a new engine. They're just never going to park and be like, okay, everybody, stop the train. We need a new train. No, they're just going to keep patching up the train because it's cheap. And it's unfortunate, but we are in a position where they're listening. So hopefully they just lean into some fast movement. Like, why do we have two different kinds of sprint?
So I have like like my list. Sorry, I didn't mean to coach of Gogo Art. I was just gonna.
That was my period. I was like segueing
okay.
you.
Okay, so like this is kind of, and again, I don't know, chat, if I am in the minority or the majority, but this is how I feel, and I definitely think this would, in my opinion, obviously I'm biased, but would make the game better. We are so fucking close to having like a game that is literally amazing that everybody can play and we can grind, and I'm not saying Verdance numbers because that's a lot of different things, but like, okay, let's go in. Let's go in. Movement right now, passable. I think we're in a middle ground. I say that in like, and I think this, if there's a slider right from like Warzone 2 over here and fucking like Verdance or Warzone 1 here, I think we're like more towards Warzone 2 movement at the moment. I think two things should happen in my opinion. Either revert, or because we've seen them separate things for Warzone and multiplayer. We know it's possible. We've talked to the devs. They said it is possible to change things, right? So either one or two things. Either put the movement back to not Caldera, beta 2 movement, where regen, your regen bar, there's no bar right now in Warzone, but the regen bar filled up while you were sliding, or in my opinion, just give yourself unlimited auto attack sprint. So that's a topic I want to discuss. I tweeted this out, unlimited auto attack sprint, like yesterday, 2 days ago, and that tweet got hella engagement. I asked, I was like, okay, can somebody give me a legitimate argument to why unlimited auto attack sprint would be bad? And I went through that and I read it, and nobody gave me a valid argument of why it would be bad. The biggest thing that people said is what happens at double time. Like nothing in my opinion really made me feel like there was a valid excuse for them not to have it. And this is why I say it, is because they can spend all year trying to fix and tweak the movement, auto attack sprint, when it should run out, when it shouldn't, how fast it regens, things like that. Or they could just give you unlimited auto attack sprint. It's Warzone. It's not multiplayer. I feel like multiplayer should feel a little bit different than Warzone. Warzone is fucking times 100 the size of a multiplayer. So why have the same movement? That's also, just my opinion.
Yeah. No, I agree. And also to add on to what you're saying too, I know there's been a topic of like whether those like micro like movements, so like YYing, slide canceling has like messed with servers, like server issues. They've said like a lot of the times it's like a lot of it is like calculated in their
inputs,
yeah. Right? And if you have unlimited attack sprint all the time, you're not slide canceling. There's probably way less YY spam and pulling out their nades to reset attack sprint and diving. People will still do it, but it'll be way less. I mean, because people right now are meleeing and throwing out semtexes canceling that and diving and all these. There's all these certain ways to reset your attack sprint. So I feel like that would also help out a little bit with that. But
it's one less stat to balance too.
Right.
I don't know. I feel like there's kind of a happy medium where maybe they just give double time as default, and then when you equip double time, it would give you the unlimited, so that it's still a need for that, because it doesn't fit everyone's play style. And I think the whole system of the perk system is so that you're supposed to pick perks that fit your play style. And if they made that one so that you would have to do that one, you would have to run that mandatory. If you want to jump off roofs, then you got to run that with Mountaineer, and then now you can't run sleight of hand or whatever. So then you got to pick and choose what perks are most important to you. And I think it's very unlikely that they'll give unlimited attack sprint.
Yeah, I mean, I hope not.
Regardless, if there's no downside, it doesn't matter. I don't see that as how they want to design their game.
Yeah, I guess the way that I see it is like, look, man, like if they just fix the sprint, like obviously perfect world. Jake and I were talking about this yesterday. They remove auto attack sprint completely and just add just sprint, but increase the sprint speed, right? Like this going from somewhat fast to fast to somewhat fast to fast, and like it doesn't. I feel
it
like
makes the regular sprint feel slow
as hell.
The regular sprint, it's still good. It's just, I don't know, it's weird.
Yeah, so I mean,
agree.
I would hope that like at the very least, if we want unlimited auto attack sprint, fine. That I think that'll solve the issue of you don't have to spam slide cancel, but you can also get from point A to point B without feeling clunky. Okay, then in my opinion, go back to the old school, or not the old school, the beta 2 week movement where it felt really damn good, and then for whatever reason they changed it, right? Like again, this is BR. This is not multiplayer. It could feel complete. It should feel different, in my opinion. So yeah, that's one of the things that I think the game needs. And then health regen, boys. For whatever reason, they upped it from 5 seconds to 7 second regen whenever you get damaged or whatever. Why do y'all think they did this? I don't. I think we should go back to 5 seconds.
Well,
why
they
7?
wanted you to run the perks. They wanted you to run the perks and the vest.
That is just insane to me.
Because the med vest is supposed to health regen in 5 instead of 7.
Like,
and then the quick fix is supposed to be there for the trade-off. That's the whole. 7 seconds is too long, in my opinion. I do agree, but I'm just explaining.
Yeah, 7 seconds is a long time.
Why.
That's a long time. Let's
7 seconds is insane. Especially if you're not running Mountaineer, you jump off a roof, you have to pop the parachute, or that'll stop the regen, and then you turn 6 seconds into like an extra 7, so 13. It's not good.
So that's the thing is like, okay, this is what I mean when I talk about like they try to fix things that were never broken to begin with, right? Like no one asked, hey, I think I'll regen a little too fast. Let's like no one ever said that, you know? And so like there's little things that whenever you play the game, you're like, ooh, like, oh, it shouldn't feel like this. This shouldn't feel like this. Like again, movement, one of them. Health regen, one of them. So that's one of my big things that I think could be addressed. And then lastly, which we can talk about more, is player count. Boys, I said this at the beginning. I'll say this now. I still think for whatever reason, man, I don't know. Ebatez, let me know what you've been thinking. I personally, I can't go. Like, big map is, I can only play it for so long now. When I used to be able to play big map all the time. All the time.
Because you're a Resurgence kid now.
Dude, I'm not a Resurgence kid, bro.
That's crazy.
It's like
I
dude,
think your last couple uploads are Resurgence, bro.
oh, because
You're
I know
Resurgence kid.
that's what the casuals like. That's what the casuals like, buddy. You know? Like even somebody like D, right, who like obviously has dominated the big map scene and the small map scene, but like he likes the big map more, right? That's all we played last year, and like he's like, bro, this map, something just feels wrong about it. It doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel smooth. Like I don't know about y'all, but I can go I can go through 2 to 3 POIs and not find anybody. Like that happens to me all the time. I think 120, like let's try it out. Let's try, like what's the worst that can happen? Try it out 120 for a week.
The servers fail tragically.
I'll say yeah, 100 is an issue where you land somewhere, you don't see anybody. It feels like the lobbies hold up good enough because we have all these ways to come back. So lobbies will usually drop to like 60, 50, and you'll see the lobbies kind of stay alive for like 3 to 4 or like third to fourth circle, like 50, 60-ish. But I feel like that's a huge issue. Like your beginning games are super slow. Like you said, you have a really hard time finding people. You could balloon. They did the balloons pretty good where you can kind of get balloon to balloon right now. It's great, you know, to get around the map, but I mean, it just sucks. The first 2 to 3 circles are horrible. Like it's just not fun. And I think that's like you lose the excitement of it. No, you're good.
The fact that it's not multiple players and it's like the regain with the random guns at zone. Like you get like getting a wipe or getting an almost wipe on a 3-man in like zone 4 means that the first guy is going to come back with like a 30-round striker with an attachment.
Yeah. No,
that
which is another
sucks,
issue. I agree.
Dude.
It's a huge issue. People get flared back, and you're just landing on a
feeling.
rooftop, and they have a gun. I
Before
definitely
it was
agree.
like, okay, you win your gulag. Okay, cool. Keep the gun. Great, awesome. Now it's just like, dude, you don't like.
We're playing
Throw me a
basically
bone here,
Resurgence
dude.
on the
I
big
just
map.
pieced these guys, and now this guy's gonna land on my head. I don't hear him, and you know.
So I guess what's y'all's opinion on that, right? Because like I've seen both ends of the spectrum. Because I get it. Okay, real quick, one side note. Just so y'all know, a lot of people are saying in chat they've already addressed that them adding more players or having 100 players has nothing to do with servers. The servers can handle 120. It has more to do.
It was a design choice.
Yeah, it was a design choice, Chad. It's not has nothing to do with servers. So just so y'all know. But what is everybody's opinion on like the whole BR turning into Resurgence, man? Like I don't know how I feel.
They need to make BR. That's my take.
Here's the deal. This is
I know where you're gonna go with this. I know, but go ahead. But I know what you're gonna say.
So obviously I don't know how I feel because you're right. Playing BR has now gotten to where it doesn't feel like BR anymore. It really doesn't.
Right.
And numbers show though that people love Resurgence. Numbers show that like Resurgence numbers are pulling hella, like it's more casual friendly. You know, the quote unquote bots love Resurgence more. It's understandable. So what I assume happened is they took that and were like, okay, how do we make big map? Like a lot of their resources are probably going into big map. How do we make big map feel like Resurgence? And that's why we have all these different ways of coming back. But in turn, it's giving you like the feel of this is no longer
There's
BR.
no dope. There's no dope. You win a game and you're just like, oh, I just got bought back 5 times and flared and whatever, and like we won the game somehow. Like there's no like value in my life. Like damn, I just died there. I let my team down. Like fuck, we got to go to the next game, boys. Like that's on me. That's on me. I just died right there. That was on me, boys. Like next one. It's no like you just get bought back, flared, gulag token, whatever. It's just boring. It's boring.
I think it's hard. It's more like a pendulum. I would say that like even Verdansk wasn't a BR. If we're being serious, the pacing just was not. When they launched Caldera, for example, it was 100% a BR and everyone hated it. People don't want a pure BR. But like I said, it's a pendulum. So they swung that shit way too far probably to make it Resurgence. And it needs to go probably a little bit further back, but not full BR. I don't think like the COD players do not want to play a battle royale. There's way better battle royales on the market. They're not COD people. You know what I mean? They're appealing to a specific demographic, and that's why Warzone played so well when it first came out, because it was the non-traditional battle royale.
Yeah.
You weren't spectating your buddy like Blackout for 20 minutes because you happen to die off of floor loot. You got bad shit. That's battle royale. No one wants that, but they're going to go play whatever the hell they want. They're going to play their PUBG. They're going to play their tradition. That's not who COD's trying to appeal to. But like I said, it's a pendulum. It swung probably too far. And I wouldn't say we need to go all the way back to like Caldera Battle Royale.
Yeah.
That was...
But we need to separate Resurgence a little bit from Big Map.
I agree with you, JGOD. It's not like I don't think we go BR, right? You're right. I think when we say BR, we're thinking of, I think everybody can agree that we all think of Verdansk, right? Yeah. It is definitely, we're talking comparatively to COD, right? Like Verdansk is the gold standard, that pacing, right? But now if we're talking all BRs, yeah, COD is way faster, right? I think now we've gotten to the point where like Resurgence is literally, like the BR does feel like Resurgence, man. Like, and I don't know how I feel about it. I do wish kind of they wouldn't do that. I think I would like it if they upped the player count and then maybe a little bit less buybacks and stuff like that. Gave it a reason. Like I think Verdansk definitely felt amazing. Verdansk definitely felt good. That's just kind of, I don't know, the way I feel when it comes to that, man. I don't know. Ranked, I know definitely ranked's gonna feel a lot different for sure. But I will add to this, right? Is what do you guys feel about the whole zones now? Like I never ever go to any of the corners of the map anymore. The entire game I'm downtown, old town, or low town. I don't know what they did to the algorithm, but it never pulls to any corners of the map.
They said that in the patch notes though, right? They were like, we limited extreme zone pulls. And I think they're kind of doing, I mean, yeah, Jay got hit it on the head. It's just a pendulum, you know, like they took it too far and now they're playing safe. And it's also, the engine's probably just a mess. Like based on the bugs that we've had through the lifetime of the game, like there's like the pinky toe is connected to the earlobe, so to speak, you know, like it's just a mess. So, I mean, we're in a really good spot, but yeah, same. Like I always end up, there's probably like it's all in the center of the map. I just think I think it's a big identity crisis. I was like a BR purist. I go to Resurgence when I was just bored. Just because I like the dope, like the stakes, you know?
Yeah.
Nothing hits like the stakes of not a real BR, but like the Warzone 1 identity that they made. And the problem is it was probably an accident, so they have no idea what to replicate. So now they're trying and they're doing a very good job, but there's just a couple little things that they just need to lead into the speed and the arcade and the this. And I think what's a struggle too is like with the audio, there's a whole casual base that likes one thing, and then there is like a separation.
Yeah.
So the regains suck for us, and immediately the first thing that got dropped in 2v2s, buybacks. You got 1 life.
Yeah.
And you know how banging that made it to watch? It's just so fire.
Yep.
That was fun as hell.
So, I mean, I hope they see that, and there is a way to. I mean, I think all it needs is like a risk reward. Like if you got tokens or a flare for doing something, if you earn that, it's probably not as cheesy. You know, if it's rare, like, oh, I found a flare. Not instead of like, oh man, like I know I play with the boys all the time. It's like, oh, let me find a flare. Let me find a flare. I got a flare. You know, it's not like, oh, please, Lord, let me find a flare. You know? So it's a balance thing. I don't think we're far off. And I'll take some L's for the real BR if it means that COD does better. You know, like, we don't have bots to roll if they don't play.
True. Like again, I these are all little things that I think, even if again my top three is movement, and is auto attack sprint, right? Find a way to buff it because it still feels clunky. Health regen and then higher player count. Those, if I had to just summarize the three things that I think should be fixed and I think could take this shit to that next level, it's that obviously gun balancing is also, they've already talked about it because right now definitely it is way too fast. But again, they're talking about it. Side note, things like bunny hopping, somebody just said in the chat, and binding, diving, and sliding to separate buttons could be changed completely the way the game feels. Like we're so damn close to making this like literally. We might not get as much viewership / popularity as Verdansk, but gameplay wise, we're so close to being better than that. Like we actually are.
Well, I kind of actually thought about that too. I don't know how you could separate the bind because the way the buttons work out, unless you have an extra button because you have paddled controllers, everything is bound to something.
I thought
and even those paddles aren't like independent. They're wired into the board.
Yes.
So you have to like, they can't just be a blank
random
button. They have to be one of the buttons.
Because up on the D-pad is a ping. If you hold up on the D-pad, it does the little scroll wheel. If you do right, it's your streaks. Left is something else. Down is your bag.
So left, what if they made it hold? It's to change your semi-automatic to...
yes, that's what it is. Yeah, that's what it is.
So you could do hold left for now changing semi to fully auto and then tapping to dive. That's the only thing I can think of. You know what I mean?
It does create an issue that there's just not enough bindings.
That's the only thing I can think of. Like,
L3 is how you sprint.
Yeah, L3 is how you sprint. R3 is either crouch or punch.
Yeah, like double tap something maybe, I guess. But like switching to a device that I can map that's the nice thing about mouse and key, and moving to controller. I just can't play without a dedicated dive button on the controller. It's crazy. Like you can do things on the map that you can't do otherwise.
100%.
There's like roof jumps from building to building off like awnings and stuff that you just can't get to unless you.
And then if you do switch it to hold, for example, somebody said you can do left instead of being able to weapon inspect. But the reality is the delay on that will be long too. So we end up with another.
Yeah,
scenario.
as long as there's no hold, and instead of holding to inspect, it's now tap to dive and then hold to switch ammo. I think it could work. I don't know.
It could work. It could work, right?
Yeah,
but that's what I mean. Like it's not as simple as. Okay, PlayStation, Xbox, get your shit together and add an extra button.
Yeah.
Like, no, it's not that simple.
Yeah. I mean, look, guys, I mean, is there anything else that you guys feel that we need for, this game to pop off? Again, I really think once Fortune's Keep Rebirth come back, a lot of people will be back. And my only goal, or at least my hope is, and I hope, Teddy, if you're watching, anybody at the studios watching, is like, let's make the game really, really good before you guys drop Rebirth, before you guys drop Fortune's Keep, so that when all these guys come back, they're like, oh shit, like, yo, this game actually is good. Like, so that's kind of at least what I would hope that their mentality is, because definitely a couple things need to be adjusted. But right now, baseline, it's okay. It's not bad at all. Way better than, like, I've been having fun. I did a 10-hour stream, 11-hour stream yesterday. Like, so it's good. It's good. But I guess let's kind of move on to the next topic. But is there anything else, boys, that you guys think that we forgot? I don't think we did. Time to Kill, definitely they already talked about improving it, so which is why I didn't bring it up. But anything, boys, on your guys' end? No? Okay, so let's talk about Season 1 Reloaded. This is in about 2 weeks from now. 2 weeks from now, I think. It's the 17th, I believe. Kat, is that correct?
17th. Yeah, it's 17th.
Anything that we know of as of right now, I think for sure Nuke contracts are coming back.
Yeah, that'll be a big one.
I'm pretty sure it's a couple like multiplayer map things. Then you have and weapons.
Multiplayer
We're gonna get
ranked.
2 new weapons.
Yeah.
We're getting multiplayer ranked. Zombies is adding another thing because they're adding the warlord or something like that.
Yeah.
And then maybe some other schematics. And then I think you have the like you said, the nuke.
Yeah. So
Isn't this the season that Teddy like was really stoked on?
he said it in like an interview that, or like, I don't know where it was, that season 1.5, there's a surprise. I think he said that.
That's my only input in this conversation. That's what I'm waiting for.
He said that
says
in
it, I'm really
the.
excited.
He said there's something
Well,
that.
he said it. There's a quality of life or a feature that hasn't even been talked about that he's most excited about. I think that was the general.
that.
Yeah, I'm stoked for that.
I don't know what that could be. I hope it's cool. Yeah, we talked. There's the exfil thing. The exfil thing. We still have no idea what that is, and
No idea.
I'm a little scared because it's another way to win the game.
It could ruin BR,
But
but we'll see. I'm not gonna jump on it too early. I don't know anything about it, so
yeah, it's what is it? Covert exfil. I don't know how.
They're not going to count as wins. There's no way.
Maybe it's a contract.
What are you gonna spawn in the next game with a gun?
Like, what could that mean? What could that mean? What could covert exfil even mean?
Graves
reminds
pats
me
Well,
you
I'm
on the
pretty
back.
sure it's going to be
Yeah,
tied. It's probably going to be tied to those whatchamacallit, those weapon cases.
It reminds me of the D word, and I don't think we should go down this road. Let me get a little worked up right now. So
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how that works, man. Hey, who knows, bro? We'll see.
You know what that is, right, Art? You're looking like you're not sure.
I can only think of one D word. Sorry.
Well, it was it's the zombies predecessor.
Oh yeah. Okay. Sorry. Pull my mind up.
we don't use that
To
word.
this level of conversation.
we
My
don't
bad.
use that
My
3-letter
bad.
word here, bro.
We don't say that word around here.
Yo, so okay, like I don't know how that's gonna work out, but I guess new contracts. I'm really excited. Not even from a content creator's perspective, but just in general. We know that new contracts have been probably one of literally the only good thing of Warzone 2 was the introduction of new contracts. But now, for those of you who don't know, they added a little twist to it. So now you can steal other people's new contracts. So if you've never gotten a nuke before, right? You could kill a team that has the nuke contract, take their nuke, and plant it yourselves and get your first nuke. So that should be really, really fun. I know a lot of people are like, oh, like stream sniping, but who cares, bro? We're in the minority. We're in the majority of people are gonna think that's really cool. It's gonna be really fun. I will say though, it is going to be exponentially harder to drop a nuke this time.
Yeah,
and they
'cause you're
did
getting
change
flared
it.
on. Flare, gulag token on.
Also, I think the content is just going to be so good because what happened before is like, let's say you already, like you weren't going for wins, right, Hector? And you load in and then you load into a lobby and then your boy is on a 5 and then they activate the nuke contract. You're like, oh shit. Let's just back out. They're going to go for the nuke. Now you'd be like, ha ha ha, you know? You'll, yeah. And then you just you're not going to stream snipe. So it's going to be good content because you're going to be solid with it versus it is what it is. So it does create more content. It does make it harder. So I think it's good.
Yeah, that should be good, chat. That comes out on the 17th. Obviously, they just announced also, which I'll bring up really fast. Call of Duty, I don't know if you guys saw that, but I think the majority of people in here saw that. Let me go to my page. They said that they're pretty much updating here. Let me put it up here. They're pretty much updating the MTZ nerf. Pretty much is updating all the weapon balances and stuff like that. What guns do y'all think they're gonna touch, boys? For sure, MTZ. Obviously, they stated it. But is there any other guns that you guys think should be
The Pullze Jack.
shotgun
conversion kit? No, the LMG. The
Leave the
Pullze
regular one because the
762.
regular one isn't broken. It's good.
Yeah, the
but it's
conversion
not
kit is
broken.
broken. The conversion kit's broken.
Pull me
Fire
out.
rate's too good.
Pull me out, right? That
Pull
one.
Me out. Yeah.
Okay. Listen, man. Again, I hope if any, I would say this, and I feel like Nate Shot said it. Some people have said it. If I don't even know if it's possible with how broken marksman rifles are, bro. If we can just have a AR meta. I'd be so happy. Not LMG, maybe the TAC Eradicator feels good because it feels like an AR. It doesn't feel like an LMG, right now. Like, dude, I pray for an MCR, which is like the ACR meta, like some type of AR meta. I think would be so fun. I think they are way better than like LMG metas, marksman rifle metas. Like, bro, if we had, like, think about, I want everybody right here, think about your guys' favorite metas going back. Like, yes, sure, people probably Bruin, right? But AMAX, Kilo,
AMAX for sure.
EM2, like,
Dude,
Growl.
The ISO Hemlock last year, the ISO Hemlock was fun.
That
was a fun meta.
It was like, look, everybody's spamming all these AR metas, and it's like some of our favorite metas are ARs, and like it makes for a really fun like game. I feel like less clunky, right? More arcadey style. So I really do. C58, that one was fun too. I really hope that in the next coming updates, next week, chat, they said mids, right? They said midweek, mid next week. So I'm assuming, chat, in exactly 1 week, there's going to be
Tuesday or Wednesday
there'll be an update, and I just hope we can get them back to a regular kind of AR meta. Any subs, guys, that you guys think are a little bit OD right now?
I know a lot of people will say the Swarm, but I don't think the Swarm is broken. I think it's just
No, I don't
really
think it's broken.
good.
It's
I
fun.
think
Yeah.
all the other SMGs should be measured against it and be buffed.
I will say, I do hope that we don't have a repeat of last year where we had like the Lockman sub all year. So hopefully the Swarm's not meta all year. I'm cool. Maybe, mid season or at the end of the season, whatever, we go new sub, So
I think
Yeah,
we're pretty
like-
close.
Yeah, ISO 9mm, if it had a little bit better range, it would compete with the Swarm a little bit better. Its second damage drop off kind of sucks. The Vel could be slightly better. Like, there's a lot of these guns that could just be a hair better, where they're like killing it like 650 milliseconds when they could just be one shot less on average for that first drop off.
Yeah.
And it would be like 7 guns you can choose from immediately. Even like there's certain ones like that Jack MCW. I don't know if you tried that one. But it's a conversion kit on the MCW, and it turns it essentially into an SMG. It's amazing.
Really?
But it's only 40 round mag. Yeah, it's amazing. But
Yeah,
it's
it's a lot
really
of
good for one solo. You knife the person, and then maybe you get another engagement before you have to reload. But in general, like if it had a 55 round mag, it could be crazy. It already has a 60 on the base. Make it a little bit slower, and then we can use a 60 round mag. It's more viable. But we've had this issue with all kinds of guns.
Yeah.
MX9 could have been meta all year. Last year, it wasn't meta once because it has a 30
Small.
round mag or whatever the hell it is. So I think it's good.
I
I
really
think it's
go ahead.
sorry. I think it's in a good place too to kind of bring stuff to the middle because the ARs kind of suck right now. Like every
Yeah.
time I pick up a ground loot MCW, I'm like, why?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't
But-
pick them up anymore.
If those come up and some of the OP ones come down just a little bit, we're in a really, really, really good spot. Because it's not like, yeah, we have like a couple broken guns, but like the whole class as a whole just needs to, the bumps need to be evened out. Like the pull me out with its conversion kit, that's an AR with 100 rounds. Totally not fair. The
Yeah.
Eradicator is fair because you have to, well, kind of fair. You have to run irons to really get the most out of it,
Yeah.
And so there's a little bit of a give and take, but
The Ram's
hopefully-
kind of like that too. Have you used it
Yep.
with irons? It's so
Good.
good.
Metaphor's build with is a lot of fun.
It's I think the build's actually bugged. I don't think, because the way the stats line up with what they say they're supposed to do, the attachments like benefit it when it's not supposed to. It's
Yeah,
those
100%.
hidden stats of aiming idle stability and then firing idle stability or whatever the fuck.
I tried it
I
on
don't know.
both inputs, and it's like that and the SVA burst when you single fire it are two guns that actually feel like MW19 guns on mouse and key because
Yep.
there's none of this.
Yeah.
And then when you shoot the SVA, it just shoots
Stays in the
straight.
same
It
spot.
feels like you have the XM4 almost, But
Yeah.
Like,
it feels so
also-
good. I'm not gonna play mouse and key.
Yeah,
though. I'm
I'll
not
throw it
crazy.
out there though. On the SVA, I think that's where the meta should sit. I definitely don't think that gun's meta by any means currently. Like, it's probably good, gimmicky, you can get some consistent kills, but that is probably between that and the TAC Eradicator right now are probably like perfectly. If they
Good.
could get like 7 guns in that mix, it'd be like ungodly fun to be able to play
Retweet.
whatever. And the floor loot, like if they could fix that, like the floor loot right now is trash.
Floor loot's ass, like really bad. So
So
like
when I
bad.
did camos, I knew I was like, we're all gonna drop in and we're like, oh great, I got a green Sidewinder. Never did I imagine that it was in the gulag, bro.
Yeah.
That's so bad.
I definitely think we should like, okay, when I say ARs, it doesn't have to be an AR meta, but guns that feel like ARs is, I guess, what I'm trying to say is like, let's say Sidewinder, like it don't really feel like what is it, LMG or what is it, marksman? I don't even know what it is.
The battle rifle, I believe.
Battle rifle, yeah. But okay, that shit
That'd
be twerking. That'd be twerking. But like, it doesn't feel like an as far as like aim down sight and all that stuff, right? So I really do like it when there's kind of a faster meta, or like I think it's a lot more fun. Again, it goes into that arcadey feel. The LMG, it's fine if you want to make certain LMGs meta. But make there have some ARs that can compete with it. Maybe, for example, if an LMG is an 800 millisecond time to kill, and then a AR is 758, 760, but it's faster ADS. Like you pick your poison then, right? Like I think Cold War integration did a very good job at having a lot of different guns that were usable and viable, apart from the fucking MAC-10, because that shit was beyond broken. But there was a certain point, I don't remember what time, where like you could use the XM4, you could use the AK-47, you could use the fucking C58. There was a lot of like, there was a certain point where there was different guns that you could use and not be completely fucking down bad. Or the fucking
We also
ones
had Iron Trials then, and that was like
that was fun.
peak Warzone, bro.
Craig as well. So I don't know. I think they're gonna do a good job this year. Already we saw them. They're back. They got back what, yesterday, 2 days ago? I don't even know. And they're already gonna do an update for the MTZ, right? What are they doing next? I don't know, but I hope that they continue to make improvements on this. I think they're doing a great job this year. So okay, boys. Anything else on that right now? If not, I'll move on to what known bugs, boys, do you guys know of at the moment, bro? What known bugs? Because I got a couple. If y'all want me to start this off.
Dude,
Start
like
it off.
50% of JGOD's Twitter thread got added to the Trello board today. That was a W, dude.
Really?
I know. I specifically did that, even though I didn't tag them.
It worked really well.
What did you
worked
tweet?
really well. I
me
tweeted
see.
yesterday. I said, these are the global and Warzone issues. Like, tweet if you feel like something's missing. Because what happens all the time is somebody experiences an issue and everyone talks about the issue, but no one tweets the issue and tags them specifically in the issue. So what will end up happening is everyone just assumes they know about it. They clearly know.
Yeah.
Well, if they knew, it'd be on the Trello. That's our tool. And we kind of have to, in a way, keep them accountable to the sense that they need to keep that updated. Because a year and a half ago, it was not updated. And you would go, oh, it got fixed, but it was never on the Trello. Now it seems like they're trying to.
Yeah. I mean, okay, look, so there's a lot of little things that I feel like they haven't done that, or like that was in Warzone 1 that for some reason, and even in Warzone 2, and then it's like it happens every year, which kind of sucks, right? So it's like it resets. So this year, for example, you have one plate in your inventory, right? And then you start putting on the plate, but as you're putting on that plate, you walk over 3 plates, 4 plates. Your character will not, it doesn't register in the game that you picked up more plates. So your character stops plating up. Then you have to hold triangle again, and then it'll start plating up again. This is something that I know, Rob, you're in here. I know I sent to you guys during Warzone 2. And it's back again for Warzone 3. I'll put a video. What's up?
For that specifically, do you use apply one at a time, or do you do apply all?
Apply all.
Okay,
Apply all.
I think that's only an apply all thing.
Well,
I
yeah,
use
makes
apply
sense
one.
because
Well,
you
yeah,
have to
'cause-
post
Well,
that
wouldn't
for
if you
everyone.
applied one, wouldn't it only be one?
Yeah,
Well,
it wouldn't matter.
no, sorry. Do you have it where you hold it and it just puts on all of them, or
Yeah.
you just tap it once and it goes?
What do you mean?
Like if you hit it once, it'll put on all 3 plates.
Well, if you
instead
hit
of
it
having
once, it
No, there's a
changes.
setting. There's a setting where if you push the button or if you like hold it or whatever, it puts on all 3 plates until
Yeah, apply
unless you
all.
like tell it to stop.
Yeah, apply all.
Nah, there's a different setting. Am I saying
Oh, no.
There's a different setting.
like I'm lost, bro.
No, the reason I'm saying that, or I don't even. The reason I'm saying that is because I've never experienced what you're talking about.
Yeah, because you always have to press it for every plate, dude.
Because Ebatez, if you have,
He probably doesn't
if you
have
have
apply
apply
all.
one, you apply every plate individually?
No, I hold it down and it puts on all 3, but I hold it down the entire time. There's a setting where if you hold it down, it'll put on. You can let go and it'll put on all 3.
That's apply all.
That's apply all.
Dude, maybe I'm faded, bro. I don't know. I
I think you have to fly individually, and you
right
would
now-
have to hold them. And what you're saying, it would work because each plate would be a new instance.
Okay.
And technically, you're holding
Maybe
it
there
as
is a new
registering
setting
the
that I
next
didn't see.
instance.
Okay. It's not
But-
like one where it puts on, it stops, and then you have to like push the button again, and then it puts
No,
on,
that's
stops.
apply one. That's just apply one. So
All right.
apply all, it does that, but you have to,
don't
maybe
know.
some people don't probably realize it, but it's like when Warzone 1 fixed it, then Warzone 2 came out, and it was a bug again. Then
There's definitely a setting, because I think you're talking about apply all. Maybe I'm just getting them mixed up, but
we'll check after
I've
the
never-
podcast, because like
I've never experienced what you're talking about, because I just hold it down the entire time while I put on all 3 plates.
I'm gonna look because I'm not doing anything else.
okay,
Yeah,
okay.
no, I've never experienced that. So it might just be a setting thing, like a specific
Well,
setting.
I guess
laughing.
I guess Ebatez, it makes sense if you're constantly holding your triangle no matter what, then
Right.
that makes sense, because like the sequence is just, it's like it's constantly registering that you're hitting up like plates. So it makes sense. But for us, that we just hold it once, and as soon as one, like it starts putting the animation, you let go and it'll just keep
Yeah.
going.
As
right?
soon as the gun comes down,
right.
So
That's
because
it.
you continue to hold it, it's
Yeah,
like you're
okay.
spamming it, right? But even
Yeah.
then, it's still a bug, right?
So that's only on an apply all thing. Okay,
Yeah,
gotcha.
yeah. So I'll get a clip and I'll send it to you, Rob. But again, when Warzone 2 came out, it was a bug. We sent it to them. They fixed it. Now Warzone 3 came out. It's a bug again, and that's that. So hopefully, I'll send them a video of it, and we can get that hopefully fixed. Another bug I don't think was ever in any other game is while putting on plates, if you pick something up and put it in your inventory, it stops you from plating. That's another thing that wasn't in Warzone 2 or Warzone 1 that is a bug now, right? I hope it's not intentional shit. So those are the two things that I've kind of, the bugs that I'm like, I guess, big bugs. Do you guys have anything?
Oh, the UAV nonsense, not getting the call in when people fly back in, even if they're reusing to redeploy. Drone. What's the other one?
Dying.
I
in
know this for
reverse on
sure,
the
too.
zip.
Oh
It's
yeah,
funny as hell, but that's bad.
when you're flying and you jump on a zip and it sends you downwards instead of upwards and you
Oh,
die.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was kind of insane, bro.
I don't know how
What
they
else?
could fix that one though, because I think that one's designed with like, I guess make the probability higher that you always go up, because that one's supposed to be when you're in an elevator, you're supposed to be able to grab it and go down, you know?
Oh.
Or if
Right.
you're at the top of the zip, you're supposed to go down. So technically it's doing what it's supposed to, but when you're flying in, it's just not registered. But yeah, I would say it is a bug.
Loot duping. Loot duplication in the gulag.
Yeah, loot duplication is
and
crazy, man.
That sucks in the gulag when you're like, wow, I just died to a interstellar wasp swarm. I love my life right now.
Yeah.
Or,
and people can plate up in the gulag too. They get like full plates and everything in the
Yeah,
gulag.
and it happens on the map too. Like it's gotten to the point where you can play for it. You're like, okay, let's just wait for his loot to spawn. And we'll have more.
That is
cash to go
insane.
res.
Yeah.
The loot thing you talked about. There's a random bug that happens like near the Legacy Fortress, which is a zombies reference, but like the top of the hill above pop off.
Yep.
Sometimes you'll get random buildings. Like they're
Just
not.
spawning in.
Yeah, and they're like super low resolution. They're like buildings in the distance.
Oh yeah. I've seen that. I've seen
Yeah.
that.
Texture bug. It's like
And
a
you'll
texture
just
bug
be
or
like in
shader
a
bug.
gunfight, you'll swing a guy, you'll ADS, and you'll have a fucking door in your face. You're like, oh,
Yeah. It's a
Sick.
Play-Doh. It's a Play-Doh like
yeah.
It's
building
just
model that's-
textures. It's like
Yeah, and there's no
Yeah.
hitboxes because you can still shoot people through it. It's not like there's actually a structure there. It's just.
Zombies
And then
said the
there's
same
that
thing.
building. There's that building right next to there that Sim died in that tourney because you can shoot through it and you can't climb the ladder. But that's
there's a lot
hyper-specific.
of ladders that you can't climb.
Okay.
Randomly.
If somebody actually has a like that is really hard to just say that the ladders, obviously,
You
they'd
have to-
have to go one by one.
Yeah.
You would have to mark them on the overhead view and they could fix them. Like I have no doubt they could fix them.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I think that's guys. I think a lot of the times, let's all be realistic here. Like they can't know everything. Let's just be honest. Like even Rob was saying right now, if you have feedback, put a video. It makes it so much easier. There's that's one thing we learned from talking to the devs is that they have so many things on their list of priorities that sometimes they can't get to it all, which makes sense. So if we're able to be like, yo, hey, these are we put together a clip of all the ladders that are messed up and we send it to them. We tag them on Twitter. I like JGOD said, I don't think it's something that's that hard for them to do because they know exactly what they're going in and looking for. So like if there's a bug or anything like that, clip it, send it to them. Obviously they're back in office now, they can address it, they can fix things. And especially this year more than any other year, I feel like they are on top of their shit. So again, another one, UAVs, when you call them in, they don't, you don't hear enemy UAV inbound. Obviously you can't clip that. I hope that's something that they can, that they're looking into. And then Windows, bro. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe this is like not hitbox, but what do you call it? Like the
scale of them feels off. Like you feel like you should be able to jump into it, and you're just like going across the edge of the door, and you're like, all right, I'm dead.
You can't go you can't go into the windows. Like I don't know how to explain that. It's like on Warzone 2, you can
eventually.
Yeah. Like you gotta but for some reason the windows aren't like, I don't know. You can't go in them. Maybe like they visually look like you can, but then like, in the game, they're smaller than they actually are. That's...
You turn on grounded mantle, it makes it way better, but then you jump over everything.
I have that on and I love it. I've had it on all of Warzone too.
I jump over chairs. I jump over ledges.
Yeah, I just never turned it off for whatever reason. But I've gotten used to it and I love how fast I do everything. Like
it used to suck on some buildings though. I don't think there's as many buildings now.
Yeah.
But it'd be like where you're at the ledge and you're trying to get up because it's like a foot above. Like, for example, if you're on Vondel and it's one of those structures on the second floor or whatever, third floor, or the top floor, and it's like curved and you just go up just to get a little bit over peak.
Yeah.
Like you would just leap over it and you're like, what the fuck? Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of little bugs, but I don't think there's anything insane, right?
Oh, so I will say that they need to figure out whatever the hell is going on with the gun underwater nonsense. Because sometimes you'll fly into the water and you pull out your SMG and then it's like, okay, I have to surface, wait, and then go back under. Yeah. But then when I come back up, it's like, I don't know what causes it though. I just know that it happens.
Yeah.
And it's usually the worst freaking time because now that everyone has a pistol, you can't shoot back. You're like, all right.
Mine, actually, a bug that I had was I had no guns. Like I was stuck with my fist in the water. So I don't know why.
Two other bugs. One old bug. There's a couple. There's one, if you go into tac stance, you put your gun in tac stance. You mainly would notice this with the shotgun because most of the guns people aren't running tac stance. But if you run it if you get into a vehicle and you get out the vehicle, it automatically defaults to normal. So you have to re-put it back in tac stance. What's another bug? There's so many little like you don't experience them every game, but it's like
I think JGOD would notice the tac stand stuff, man. That's hilarious.
Yeah, I haven't used tac stance once, I don't think. But that's on me.
What would you guys say are the 3 biggest bugs that like that if we were to send this to any of the devs, what are this segment, what are the top 3 that you would say? I would say the plate bug. Not like when you pick up a plate and it doesn't keep plating. That's mine if I had to give one.
I feel like the buy station just needs more optimization. I know they've committed to this terrible UI, but the reality is I've gone into the menu and you go in there and try and be quick, and sometimes you'll hit the buy, it doesn't buy, or it does a weird, like, I don't know, it sucks compared to Warzone 1. That's like one of the biggest annoyances.
Yeah.
Like it feels so clunky, and it's like, all right, this time I have teammates, so the cursor starts in this spot.
Yeah, that's true.
It's so bad.
It needs to be where like it's just listed like it was Warzone 1, and then if you want to buy a gun, you can hit like L1, R1 to like go between different like menus.
Yeah.
So
it's just
then it's
visually
still
bad too.
It's bad. It's bad.
Like it's all gray. Like I didn't notice it until I was like doing filters and just looking at old, like footage, but I was in the buy and it's like, oh, what I'm selected is light gray blue, but the box that I'm not selected is light gray. like what? I have colorblind filters on too, and I haven't changed any of my colors. Like if anything, I made it more high contrast. It's just like bad. And that and the gas, I said chat saying about the gas mask. On mouse and key, I don't really think about it because I can just click and click. But on controller, isn't it supposed to just always be your? I must have I have to do like. Feng
It depends
shui
on where
in
it's
my
placed
backpack.
inside
Yes,
your
dude.
backpack.
I drop plates and then I drop the gas mask and I pick up the gas mask again, so it's my first spot, and then I pick up plates again.
I think that's a mid-season feature of auto sorting. I think it's a mid-season feature of auto sorting.
You know what
or a dedicated slot.
A dedicated slot. Wow. Imagine.
I'm a big fan
But
of
we've already
dedicated
talked
slot.
about that. Yeah.
Oh,
I
we've
mean,
talked about it
I
many
don't see it
times.
happening. Yeah.
I didn't know that was like a mid. That's the only thing. Like I was trying to think. That the
I
buildings
think
on
I
the
don't
map.
remember. It was on that list of those 40 changes that we got exclusivity to in that call.
Yeah.
But I think that's a mid-season one. I
Okay.
mean, that's off of memory though. The sorting, but it is nice that it is on the bottom left on your actual inventory.
Yes.
But the actual bag, it is it
Yeah.
should be easy.
That's so Chag, somebody said when is mid-season. That is January 17th. So in 2 weeks from now, right? That's exactly 2 weeks from now.
It's usually on
Pretty cool
Wednesdays.
though, to
Yeah.
like sit here and think about what's wrong with the game and be like, what is wrong with the game?
Yeah,
Because
I mean,
nobody shouted anything.
yeah, I mean, there's a lot of little things, but the best part about this is that like last year, Chad could name 20,000 big bugs, to where now we're kind of like nitpicking, which is great, right? Which is great. So I guess now let's move on to the next section of the podcast, which this is kind of all going to be piled up into one, but pretty much competitive Call of Duty or competitive Warzone for that matter, right? So let's real quick talk about the big topic that a lot of y'all been asking, and for anybody here who is there any competitors in here, Huskers, FIFA, anybody who competes a lot, Braxton, what is everybody's opinion on the audio cheese? Art, guys, for those of y'all who don't know, Mr. Art over here, where is it over here? Art over here has put together, probably, if y'all haven't peeped it, you guys are selling. If you are on PC and you have not done Art's audio settings to make you have actual audio, you're selling, because it is insane. Which is why we brought Art onto the podcast today. But so okay, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. So pretty much, guys, Art made an audio setting, or audio messed with, like, I don't even know what you did, Art. I don't want you to even like explain it, because I know we're doing
Well,
fifth grade reader terms,
Yeah.
So but pretty. You want to try to?
Do you want me to? I can try to kindergarten it. Yeah.
Sure. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, I kind of touched on it earlier. Like everybody, like when you pick your Astros, when you pick your headphones port on your monitor, when you pick, like, I've only encountered like 3 devices that aren't stereo, right? Most everybody just runs a left, and a right. That is just how it works. All music you listen to, all movies you watch are left and right channel. Their source material might be very different. When you go see Interstellar in the movies, you're experiencing 8 channels, right? Satellite speakers and a subwoofer. There is support for surround sound. So if there's somebody that has a console, and this is really, in my mind, the only way somebody would ever use surround sound. They have a console in a home theater room, and they're connected via HDMI to their like surround sound receiver. And the PlayStation or PC is like, oh, hey, this is surround sound. Cool. Let's output all the game in surround sound. Well, I've done that digitally, right? So I've made a virtual device that you listen to on your headset that is configured for surround sound. In the process of configuring it for surround sound, the way Call of Duty maps sounds to certain channels, I turned off your player sounds, which frees your ears up to hear a bunch of other stuff. Multiply that with how well dynamic equalization works. You're good. So that's EQ, loudness EQ. It's a compressor. When things are quiet, it makes them loud. When things are loud, it makes them quiet. Shoot your gun, it's quiet. Footsteps are loud, right? It's just optimized for that. Did I not kindergarten it?
No, everybody's
chat. I'm sorry.
Everybody's like, more kindergartner, more. Long story short, you guys don't need to know the gist of it. But long story short, it's insane. Like, it really does. Like, you can tell who has it and who doesn't, especially that on top of the flex perk. Shout out my boy Art. He is goated for doing that. Listen, I guess it's been brought to light that should something like this be banned in competitive Call of Duty, or should it be allowed to be in competitive or not, right? Because technically Art put a YouTube video, guys. It's there. If y'all want to link it in the chat, you guys can. You can do it for free if you want. It doesn't cost anybody money. You can do it, set it up however you guys want, and it does make your audio insane. So now, I guess the question is for chat to decide, and even for us to discuss: should the Art of War audio be banned? And Art, I want your opinion, obviously, because it's yours, right? What do you think about your audio? Is it something that you think should be banned? Should you be able to use it in competitive? What do you think?
Well, I mean, I don't compete. Too old for that. Just don't compete. But it's like, I mean, everybody should be competing on an even playing field. Sure. And it comes down to competitive integrity. Every time I've said, like, I've designed it in a way that you can easily switch off of it. You know, I've even designed it in a way you can use this, loudness EQ, or nothing. And I could easily provide a way to vet that people aren't using it. You need to check two things. There's an easy way around it. That's not on anybody to say whether or not you can or can't use it. You have to agree to not use it if you want everybody on the same playing field, and then you have to stand by your GAs. So then a bunch of young people on the internet have the very hard conversation about doing trustworthy things, and that is not my problem. But I mean, that's just a reckoning that the scene's going to have to deal with. Like, you're playing competitive in a game that is, by most incredibly competitive people on the internet, viewed as not incredibly competitive. And there's a lot of cheese stuff. And we do a lot of stuff to make it more competitive. At the end of the day, that's the reality. So, I mean, if you got people not following the rules, then I don't know. What happens to people when they don't follow the rules? Consequences. So I don't know the answer to that. But personally, either everybody use it or you don't use it. And right now there's no rules. So if you're not figuring out how to do it, you're at a disadvantage.
True. Okay. I agree with Art, honestly. But I'll give you guys my opinion right now. JGOD, what do you think?
I would say that it should 100% be banned, but it's not going to be.
Okay.
And it's just like with the CDL, they used audio cheese for the entire year when it was online. Some teams would agree to GA it just because there it is what it is.
Yeah.
And then there was just like a trust amongst the teams to do that. But generally that was few and far between. And when they got to land, it was not available, not usable. You're not able to install anything or have any kind of weird anything. It is literally how the game is. So you get like, you can get to the title, but you're not going to win the title most of the time if that's what you're using when it gets to land. And I think, you know, that's where it's at. You can't monitor it. You can't babysit it because anyone, like he said, you could just flick it off instantly. And then like, who's to say, oh, you know what? I want to double check to see if you got the cheese. All right, no problem. Boom, keybound. It's off.
Yeah.
And we're good to go. GG's. Yeah, I wasn't using it. So like the scene's too big. There's too many people. You can't police it.
Well, and it's also like, I love to gas up my own stuff, but video gamers will always like seek the max min, especially people passionate in the scene.
Yeah.
You've played both, Hector, you know, like you still use loudness EQ. It's not like it's astronomically better. You know, it's not like the IEMs that we wear are astronomically better than another headset, but are they better? Yes, they are better. So people will always use the best thing. People are still turn on loudness EQ. It's 80% of the way there. As the dude who designed it, is the other thing really broken? 100%. But if that wasn't there, it would be something else.
Agreed.
So, I mean,
and eventually they will fix the audio to a certain extent where it's usable and people won't necessarily need it. They'll probably still use loudness EQ, but
boys,
what about you, Ebatez? What you think?
Before Ebatez answers real quick, we did the poll. Just so you guys know, we did the poll. It is 37 said no, it should be banned, and 36 people said it should be banned. So literally 51 to 49%, which is insane. Ebatez, go ahead, puppy.
Dude, just knowing you guys all make very, very good points, and especially just knowing the Warzone scene, I think I haven't met so many competitors and people that just lack competitive integrity. I mean, we've been going through this for years. I mean, it was VPNs and TKRs, and then it was like, dude, there's been some stream sniping and customs, and dude, it's never ending. So like, we're always gonna have, the problem is though, that the big issue I have here is most of our money for tournaments, competitive stuff is it's at home. You could talk about LAN all you want. You know, the biggest tournament is at the end of the year on LAN, whatever. That doesn't matter. 75% of our prize pool is probably throughout the year. So people are gonna do whatever they can to make whatever kind of money they can at home. And, you know, I do agree, like Shifty said the other day, you know, he was like, this should be banned. This is kind of where it all started, you know, with FIFA using it. And again, FIFA's not in the wrong for using it. I really don't think that. It's just a matter of we're not going to get everybody to agree to ban or GA, so we just have to just deal with the cards we're dealt. We've always dealt with cheese in tournaments. People have been VPNing into TKRs for years for money, and then we got to 2v2s, and people were, I don't know, stream sniping or having people come kill the people against them. It's just, there's always going to be something. So it does suck. It does suck. Don't get me wrong. Like, I hate art. Like, there's beef for sure, but it's something
The irony is that, like, I just pulled up the stream, and because of where I'm looking at all of you, it looks like I've just been looking up at Ebatez.
Look, okay, so look, I did the poll again, chat, because a lot of people were complaining that, oh, I didn't know there was a poll. Guys, you guys can I put the poll again. Go ahead and vote. This is kind of my and I'm gonna do it a little bit more blunt than what Ebatez said, right? The Warzone scene, there's a lot of pieces of shit out there. I'll be honest, bro. There's a lot of scummy motherfuckers. I'm gonna keep it real, bro. I don't, in my opinion, just do default, bro. Allowing CQ already enough is pretty damn good, right? But there is no way to, like, you know, dictate what people can and can't do, and there's no way. And again, we're not saying ban, we're saying GA, guys. Even Rob, you said, like, what do you mean ban? No, GA, guys, gentleman agreement, all agree not to use it or all agree to use it. There's no way to kind of like be like, okay, hey, do you have it? No, it sounds like you do, bro. Like, it sounds like there's no way to kind of like monitor every single person. And at the end of the day, bro, somebody is going to find a way to cheese the system to where on stream it sounds different than what you hear in your ears. You like, always. Like, there's always going to be something. I agree. Yes, audio without it is, like, I want to say non-existent, but it is pretty bad, you know. But audio with it is so refreshing. And sadly, man, I mean, I think for Shifty D, like, I'm sorry to say, boys, but they're just gonna have to use it, bro. Like, they're just gonna have to use it. I will say, if you're gonna go to LAN, for example, I don't know what Shifty did, but Diaz never used loudness EQ because all of last year, because he didn't know if he would be able to use it on LAN. So when he went to LAN, he quote unquote like got a buff because everybody had to go back to regular audio, but he was already used to it, right? So right now we're so far out of, like, if there's even gonna be a World Series Warzone, which I hope there is, right? But like, when that would be in August, right? We're so far out that, like, at this point it doesn't matter. I think everybody, like, sadly, yeah. If guys, if you don't have it, go ahead and look at his video, set up your things on your PC, and it works insane. But I would say nothing will ever be what everybody was trying to gatekeep last year, which was, I don't know if anybody knew this, insane, chat. Bro. Everybody gatekept this, chat. Everybody gatekept this, but pretty much you could separate. Don't say
everybody.
A lot of people gatekept this, but pretty much you could separate your footstep audio from all your other audio. Like, I don't know what happened, but you pretty much would put, like, I don't forgot how it worked, but dude, it was insane, bro. You could have your game volume hella low and your footsteps audio cranked to the fucking max. And it was the most broken shit ever, chat. That's why there were so many people last year, we won't expose anybody, that were like, oh, you're just an audio warrior, because after they nerfed, or after they fixed that audio fix, you were asked the game. They said that to so many people.
You better mute me before I go rogue.
Oh, hey, go rogue,
I don't give a fuck. 4 in Jace.
Oh, shit. All right. Boys, okay, so the poll now was 53% said yes, it
basically
should be banned.
The same.
Yeah, so 53 to 47, 136 to 123. So yeah, audio frauds, right? But that, I will say, bro,
there was a lot. I think there was like a group of like 15 people that had it.
It was the best thing ever, bro. It was so like amazing, bro. Like, you could hear everything, and like I will say some people went OD with it. Like, literally 80% footsteps, literally 10% regular else, and like, it was insane. But then they patched it, and then you can't do that no more. But it really did make the game really enjoyable. But yeah, man. Again, at the end of the day, Shifty and Diaz are here. It sucks, boys, but there really is no way to monitor and GA things. You guys know the type of community we're in, and there's a lot of scumbags in the scene, and there's a lot of, you know, not the greatest individuals. So it is what it is.
Also, we're so far out from like an actual LAN. There's no announce, no nothing, and we're not even 100% sure it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
So it's like, there might even be 6 more iterations of audio by the time we get to that point anyways.
Yeah.
So it is what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is, chat. You're just like, boys, you're just gonna have to get used to it. Sadly, use it or have it used against you, kind of, you know. Yeah, Dia's just spamming the same message.
They're all frauds. I don't care. Frauds. We'll see you, man.
Okay, I'm gonna jump to 8, boys, real quick. So now speaking of competitive, man, what have you guys been feeling about the last couple weeks of tournaments? Obviously, not everybody was invited to Face Fridays. Not everybody was invited to the community ones. How are y'all feeling so far? I will say this from a viewer's perspective. I love what Swag did in their rule set when it came to the no buybacks, no gulag tokens, all that stuff. I think it made 2v2s way fucking better. It was genuine. I think I've had the most fun ever in the 2v2s. Like watching the guys
big
chat.
Swings like, oh shit, he died. Like, oh no, like he's got a clutch. Like it was fun. Like,
bro,
I liked it.
Okay, on no glaze chat. Like for real, I'm no glaze. I'm just it's an example. Watching D 1v2.
That's crazy.
Sorry. Look, bro, no. I'm just gonna be honest. Watching D 1v2, that fucking I don't know, with semis against Adrian and shit, and to go stupid to win, was the craziest shit ever. Like, it makes it so everything fucking matters. Every kill matters. Everything. You have to value your life.
I think it is a double edge, though. I think it is a double edge in the sense because it does make it a little bit more RNG in a sense because random RPG, random cluster mine, or whatever the hell it is, not cluster mine, whatever the hell those things are called. But it also leads to those types of things that you're talking about that wouldn't happen otherwise. He would have made the money, gone to a buy, got him back, and then it would have been like less close and less like clutch feel because it's 2 people versus 2. But it's double edged, I would say, because there are going to be tourneys where the better players, in most people's eyes, just have worse luck because it's a battle royale. They go to the gulag, they get they get killed in the gulag, like in the Juki's clip where he kills the other guy, but like the roles reversed and he gets shot as he spawns in. Like there's some bullshit that can happen in this game.
Yeah, for sure.
And
MTZ'd.
like even when I was watching that and Shifty falls off the edge of the building and he kills. It's like, there's some BS that happens in this game. So you're less likely to have the best players winning everything, which is probably better in terms of like, hey, everyone has a chance. But it also kind of like, it's both. I think it's both. I think it's good, but the other way is good too. It's just different reasons why they're good.
I would say this. Yes, from a competitive standpoint, I agree with you, JGOD, but I would die on this hill. We should be catering towards the community and viewership more than competitive, and make the game super competitive or more viewership. I would choose more viewership every single day because that's how longevity is brought into the scene, right? We don't even have a competitive scene, right? There, so like we have to prioritize viewership over competitive, over anything, right? So when it comes to this, in my opinion, every single more viewership is the reason for a lot of the tournaments. So a lot of people can complain, even the competitors. I'll be honest, I was a competitor. I'm sorry, guys, all you guys watching. It doesn't fucking matter what you guys want. I'm sorry. If there is a better rule set that brings more viewership, that should be what we do every single time. Every single time, bro. Again, we've seen it countless times. Again, when you go too far on one end of the slider and try to make it super competitive, sometimes it becomes boring to watch. It does. And viewership drops. But with something like 2v2s where every life matters, the viewership goes crazy, bro. I saw fucking D and fucking FIFA at like 10K the other day. Like I haven't seen them at those numbers in forever, right? Like that just shows that the community loves this type of shit. So 2v2 no buybacks and match point, I think are the things that we should stick to. I think they're fucking amazing. So yeah, I don't know. And so what do y'all think about the tournament happening tomorrow? By the way, we will be doing a watch party for that tomorrow. The Sadie Hawkins format. So it's one guy, one girl, right?
Yes, correct.
Okay, and it's a 2v2, a duos custom.
It's a duos, Vondel customs, into a 2v2 on big map, which I'm a little iffy about.
Go ahead, Ebatez, talk to me.
Yeah, I think I don't really like, I do and I don't. I don't like mixing Resurgence with the big map, especially like a customs versus a 2v2. It just kind of feels weird, especially on 2 different maps. I don't know, because I feel like there's some really, really good Resurgence players out there who, you know, maybe would have benefited from a duos customs on Vondel, but they're going to get to 2v2 and might just get slammed. So I don't know. I feel like it's it's weird. It's kind of mixing the two, and I feel like there's some really good Vondel or whatever Resurgence players that could have, maybe had a chance to show them, showcase themselves in a big tourney or something. But I don't know. It just feels weird. I feel like there's a lot of, again, and on the flip side of that, there's going to be a lot of really good 2v2 teams that might not qualify to make it to the big map, which is where you make the money. So I guess you have to be good at both to win it, but it just feels weird to me mixing the two.
Yeah. So I definitely think that like going forward, I don't think customs like tomorrow, for example, I don't think tomorrow will be the craziest in viewership, in my opinion. Like, I don't think it'll be cool, definitely fun to watch, right? But like, I think the one that everybody's gonna want to watch is gonna be on the 9th, which is the what's it called, the 2v2 kill races. And do you guys know, is that by any chance, does anybody know, Shifty? Do you know, is that also no buybacks? I would hope. I don't know if they've released the rules.
I think it's buybacks. Co-eds are normally buybacks. Well, I think in the swag thing, it's just like kind of a one-time tournament. I don't think that's like a set rule set, especially for twos. So I'm assuming there's buybacks.
Okay. I would hope they change their mind, because it was literally like insane. Wait, I don't think Diaz is playing in that one tomorrow, right? In that tournament.
I saw somebody tweet at Biffle. He must have egoed. That's crazy. Somebody got a captain spot and they said, "Yo, at Biffle was good. I got a captain spot," and he just didn't respond.
Damn.
Biff with the ego. That's crazy.
Diaz really do hate meeting new people, bro.
That's crazy.
Oh man. Yeah. So I mean, I'm excited, man. I don't know what's gonna be like, what's to come in the next couple weeks, but I really hope there is a trios match point custom, like a normal one, really soon, because we've had a lot of community ones, which obviously are great. They're fun, but obviously we might be biased. But I love seeing all the trios play with each other. We haven't had any official
set trio
tournaments,
because there's been plenty of trio stuff, but not set trio.
I want some of that too, because I feel like we're gonna get some roster changes. Like, I feel like some teams that, like, may have announced like as a trio or whatever, they might just do bad in these tournaments, like these competitive ones, like super competitive ones, and they might just like, we might see another wave of roster mania, which would be really fun.
Which I hope that happens soon. I don't really know. I hope there's more tournaments coming soon. It's trio, specifically trio customs, with anybody being able to choose whoever they want. We know they've had a lot of the community ones where, like, but I hope that kind of changes. And boys, anybody that you guys think this year to watch out for, any rookies or anybody even in general that you're like, yo, this person has been going crazy the last couple weeks. Again, the pool of players is very small, because FaZe Fridays is select people only. A lot of players aren't competing. But so far, is there anybody that you guys feel like is like, damn, this guy, like this person, whatever, is fucking insane? Again, might be biased, but I'm gonna throw it out there. Adrian, I think this year has been going fucking insane. But anybody else that you guys feel, even in the chat, anybody that you guys feel has been going absolutely fucking nuts this year? Or so far in the last 3 weeks, right? 4 weeks.
I feel like Adrian is like the number one, especially for everybody. The kid's been going insane. And it's hard to say if we have like a sample size that's like, more than what we have right now to say like anybody else. But no, I saw Lucky was playing some tourneys. I know he was doing decent with Smith. So I'm excited to see him kind of turn up and hopefully gets his groove back, because I know he's a really good player. But no, I think Adrian's the number one for me for sure.
Art, what about you? I know, Art, do you watch
Adrian,
a lot?
Yeah,
Okay.
Dude, I watch. I used to stream a bunch. Now I just like do appointments and help people. So I just like, always have a stream tabbed. And I've worked with like a lot of the competitors at this point. So like personally, like of course, like Adrian's like an obvious pick.
Yeah.
Crinks, I'd like to see like do well. That would be cool. And I had a third. I think somebody said it in chat. I forget what it was.
I know FIFA, obviously he won the latest tournament and he was going like stupid, like dummy, right? And a lot of chat. Guys, listen, somebody said in the chat, they were like, oh, you guys always talk about the same people. What, chat, it's not my fault the same people are doing good, bro. Like, I'm sorry. Like, just because your favorite streamer isn't winning tournaments, like, that's not our fault, right? Like, bro, we're just going
to winning tournaments.
No, we should spend more time on the guy who has 3 kills, bro. Like,
I'm sorry. Like,
I will say, like, having watched since Caldera and since I'm here and I'm like in front of a bunch of people and he's in chat, I do like to see Shifty winning, because like seeing where he's seeing where he started in Caldera, he was like kind of kicked around for a while. And he's a good dude. He's like a nice guy. I've talked to him a bunch, and it's
I wouldn't say all that, but no, it's definitely cool to see.
Cool to see him winning. He puts on a tough guy act, but he's like really a nice dude.
He thinks he's a movie star. Actually,
he is a nice guy. No, no.
I'll
Shifty,
take the time
look,
to say that.
Shifty
thinks he's
literally thinks he's in a movie, bro. I'm not even trolling. He's a dude.
That's
He
a
is.
good attitude,
He is
I
a
think,
nice
for
guy.
competing.
Yeah, he thinks he's in a movie, bro. It's fuck. I love the guy. I love the kid, man. He's a good
Off
guy.
camera,
Great
you
guy.
get Shifty one-on-one. He's a good dude.
Yeah.
Other than that, no, I'm just playing.
Competition, he turned into a demon, man. I think obviously we haven't had any trios customs, right? But obviously, I will say my favorite team, my favorite trio right now is Breadman, Joe, and Skullface.
Skull.
That team.
It's a good trio.
If we're talking actual customs, once we see the actual trios go at it, definitely, we only had one tournament in the last 4 weeks, right? With the set trios, I think that team is in the tournament. That team is probably the favorite this year, which is the way that they've been moving lately, bro. They are insane. I don't see that trio placing under top 5 in the year, bro. They're
sure.
very disciplined, and this game, you need to be way more disciplined than ever. With the way everything works, that's just the way it is, man. But yeah,
especially once we get like a ranked playlist and there's like no flares or whatever, like that's a disciplined team, bro. Like Skull and Bread, like if I could pick anybody to win, like if I have one person alive on my team, Skull or Bread are like definitely the 2 people you want on the roster. So
Yep.
Yeah.
dude, that team's about to go insane.
It's gonna be. I'm excited to see all the players again. It sucks. I just wish there was more trios, like actual trios tournaments, custom tournaments
for sure that we could base anything off of.
Yeah, man. Okay, so going on to the final topic of the night, man. Boys, this was a new one that was brought to my attention. I'm kind of down to talk about it. Preds, I don't know if you're here, Pops, but people talked about ranked Resurgence, boys, and I guess let me put this up here. And what do you guys think about a ranked Resurgence, or even ranked Resurgence in general? Do you guys like the idea? Do you guys think it shouldn't be a thing? What is y'all's opinion on a ranked Resurgence game mode? You guys want me to give you guys my opinion? You guys want to go first? Whatever y'all want.
I've been talking a lot, so somebody else go.
What do you think, Art? What you want to give your opinion?
I mean, I've never been a Resurgence dude. Like respawn's not been my thing. I would assume ranked would come back different, but I could not think of a thing that would disengage my ADHD more than playing a respawn big map mode with taps.
Yeah,
True.
taps are in the game.
True.
Nah. That's a whole nother subject. Taps need to go, bro. Taps need to
Yeah,
go.
dude, taps are just like, I know everybody wants to be an astronaut, but bro, you should have shot him first. I don't know what to tell you. Like, I'm old. I'm usually the last one to get there. It sucks for me, dude. Like, just get good.
JGOD, what do you think about ranked Resurgence?
I don't know if it could work. I mean, they kind of came out hot when they did the first ranked, and it actually came out pretty decent. Besides
ranked,
the
right?
taps, I mean, yeah, the regular ranked, it came out pretty good. Even the way they did the ranked and multiplayer came out generally okay. I mean, I don't see how they would support it, bro. What map is it gonna play on? Is it gonna rotate between Vondo and Rashika, or what the hell? Like, what are we doing? I don't know. I think there's too many variables there.
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be kind of cool, but I just genuinely don't think there's enough people that care about that. And the people who push the content for Resurgence, it's just about 40, 50 kill games and against bots, bro. No, and you guys aren't going to that map. The absolute most competitive players aren't. They're gonna play regular ranked. I think it's a waste of time, honestly. If I'm being honest, but
I agree. So here is kind of like my kind of consensus on ranked Resurgence. Again, there's so many times where Call of Duty tries to mix feels of different things. Again, Resurgence is something, again, people get mad, like where they say casual friendly. I'm sorry, but it is very casual friendly Resurgence. It is where people don't have time to play 30-minute games. They get in, play Resurgence for 10, 50 minutes and get out. And it's just quick. It's mindless gaming, right? Ranked Resurgence, in my opinion, doesn't make sense because you're trying to make something that's meant to be casual competitive. Then it loses its touch, right? It loses its spark, right? It's something that just, in my opinion, you don't split resources and try to make ranked Resurgence and ranked BR. You just make ranked BR and keep Resurgence as fun and casual friendly as possible. Trust me, one of my fucking my brothers, Lucky, once ranked Resurgence. I get it, but like realistically speaking, the only people that are gonna play that are like the Luckies, the even then maybe not. I don't know. Like those guys, like it's meant to be casual. It's meant to be fun. I don't think ranked Resurgence would work. That's cool and all. Like I get the thought process of wanting it. And who knows, maybe I'm wrong, but I just don't think that would be as successful as, you know, as a BR, right? Resurgence is successful for a reason. Because it's casual friendly and it's just go in, you get out, don't take it too serious, just have fun, warm up, whatever the case may be. And then BR, it makes sense, right? So I mean, hey, that's kind of how I feel. Maybe there might be a way to make it work. I don't know. I read the whole thing. Respawns might be punished more for and heavily for losing. You lose SR the more you respawn. I don't really know how that works. But I just, at least in my opinion, it doesn't make sense. I don't know what y'all think. But
I think it'd be much more likely to get another format, but on the big map. Whether it's solos or duos, would be way more likely than I think Resurgence.
I think a lot of people would prefer that too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I get Commander Kane, I get you. Like I understand the community for Resurgence is fucking massive. We all know this, right?
Yeah.
I'm not arguing the fact that that's a fact for sure. What I'm saying is like again, there's a reason why that community is so big. There's a reason why. It's because it caters to way more people. It's very casual. And now try to make something casual into ranked, it feel like it doesn't flow, right? I guess maybe they might do it. I don't know. But it would be cool to maybe, you know, again, I don't know, spreading resources, right? But let's say World Series Warzone one day, World Series Warzone BR, the next day, World Series Warzone, you know, Resurgence. You know, I think it'd be cool.
Resurgence tourneys are fun. Those are fun, I'm telling you. And the viewership I know is good for them too.
They're actually horrible, by the way.
No, is it actually?
Viewership, I have the whole...
It's like down 30% or something, right?
Yeah, because...
As like an overall or like individual? Do you go to like Huskers and like look at his? Or
yeah,
like,
I look at everybody's. I study analytics a lot.
Everybody's.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have mine written
something
down.
Like Huskers, his would be down obviously, but like whereas like other streamers, like theirs would be up because of it.
Even the Resurgence guys have less viewers.
Okay.
I think it's because again I think that's why. I'm not saying that there's a science behind it, but like statistically speaking, at least from what I've gathered, right? Maybe Call of Duty has hard numbers, but all the Resurgence tournaments, viewership wise, do significantly worse than any BR, 2v2s, like all of that stuff, right? Because it's just not competitive. It's fun, probably to play it. It's probably super fun, but there's no stakes. Like even when watching it, JGOD, you're funny, bro. JGOD would be like, "Oh boys, we can lock in now. Resurgence closed. Like, and like, all right, let's lock in. You know, like, so guys, we're talking about tournaments, chat.
True, though.
We're not
it's
talking
true,
about
the viewers
pubs.
are doing the same thing. I'm sure.
No.
Yeah, we're talking about tournaments.
Yeah, we're talking
Because
about tournaments.
You know how it's that bad too? No one's telling us to shut the hell up when we are talking, BSing around for that first half either.
Yeah.
Versus when other things are going on in Battle Royale, they're like, hey, lock it in there in the goosh or whatever.
Yeah.
No. This is like, oh, cool. Okay, it's time to lock in zone 4.5 or whatever.
Yeah. So I mean, I mean that's just obviously again the numbers could be different, but just I actually write down all analytics and I study other people's analytics, and like I just from what I've studied, it definitely does worse. But that doesn't mean obviously they shouldn't do it. Sure, fucking do it. I wonder again, right? JGOD, we had this talk. It's like, I did a video on shadow banning, right? And it's like all I ever hear is people talking about shadow banning in my comment section and everywhere, right? So I do a video on it, and it's the worst performing video ever, right? And like it's like, oh, it may seem like there's a huge community for this, but in reality,
it's a vocal minority.
Yeah, it's so tiny, like of the actual spectrum of
and
people.
You know, it's a vocal minority too, is because if it was actually as many people as people believed it was, like they would fix it. Because do you think it's better or worse for them when people play their game?
Yeah, I would
Let's
say
use common sense here.
It just doesn't make sense to me. Yeah, the shadow ban, again, we talked about it. The shadow ban stuff doesn't make sense to me.
The system does suck, but it's not as many accounts as people think it is.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how that works, bro. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of my opinions on Resurgence Ranked. It'd be cool if they give it a try, sure. But if let's say they're sitting in their office and they're like, okay, do we take 50% of resources from BR Ranked and put it into Resurgence Ranked? I would say don't do that. Let casual be casual, and big map or competitive be competitive, right? Make a big separation of the two. So I don't know. But yeah, boys, I don't know. What do y'all think so far? I think we're in a good spot. The year has been, so far, the last 4 weeks, pretty good. And if this is where our starting line is, I'm really excited to see what season 4 looks like, season 5 or whatever the fuck, right? Again, if any devs are watching, the biggest thing I would say is there's going to be an influx of people. Year. I meant Rob, you know what I meant. I meant New Year of COD. But I would hope that there's going to be a big influx of people coming back when Rebirth comes back and with Fortunes keeps come back. I would hope that whenever that does come back, the game is in a really good foundational state, right? That all the things that like foundationally wise are good, movement, time to kill, so that when people come back, they're like, oh shit, this is not Warzone 2. We're back, So
I don't know. Yeah, it's weird because I think last year broke so many people, because even now there are people who haven't even tried Warzone or Resurgence. They're like, is it actually good again? Like,
Yeah.
like,
sadly,
That's the tone of everybody from the Verdansk era. They're just like, does it still smell bad? I'm like,
So, I mean, we'll see, man. But boys, I mean, I think that's it for the day, man. We went over everything we had to go over. Boys, I hope next week we get a really good weapon balance update. I don't know how much they'll actually weapon balance with a week after that is season 1.5 or season 1 reloaded. I don't really know what, but for a fact, MTZ is getting nerfed, which that already is a huge W,
bye bye
Big
baby
dubs.
gun.
Bye bye baby gun, man. I hope 2 guns. MTZ and the pulling me out with the conversion kit. Those are the only 2 I think that are really broken. There's definitely a couple shotguns that are insane, but I don't think they have been as widely used as other ones have. So I think we're okay. But boys, anyways, that concludes today's podcast. Anything else before we go, Mr. JGOD?
no, I'm good. I'm good.
Ebatez, Art.
Good, man.
No, I can't fix your console audio.
All right, man.
Technically, you can though, right? Can't you route it through a PC?
Yeah, go buy a surround sound. No, I'm working on that. I'm cooking.
Oh,
He's cooking. Okay.
yo, if you can get the console players to get good audio, brother, you are going to be a millionaire, Art. Oh man. All right, check, guys. Thank you guys so much for tuning into the Pullze Check podcast. We'll catch you in the next one. Next week, we're going to be talking about the new update, weapon balancing update. So that'll probably be on Tuesday, Wednesday. So look forward to another podcast then. Boys, JGOD, Ebatez, Art, I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. And everybody at home, whether on YouTube or on Twitch, we'll catch you guys in the next podcast, baby. Peace, 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 peace.